Alrighty, thanks everyone for joining today. Depending on where you reside, it's either morning or afternoon. Thank you for joining. I know everyone's time is valuable, and we will kick it off here. For those of us that wanted to know as well, this webinar is being recorded. Oh, thanks for the assistance there. I didn't know that was to everybody. This is being recorded. You will receive or can subscribe to our YouTube channel to find it there as well. Today we're going to be talking about revision management made easy. Feel free to use the Q&A area to ask me any questions as we go along. I love questions. I will try to answer them as they roll in. If I don't get to them, don't worry, we will have some time at the end to kind of run through some questions that you have about what we covered today or any other CTC tool that you see in the panels or you have been utilizing. Also, we'll also have a little bit of time to kind of run through if you have any questions as well. My name is Michael Chave. I'm an AEC technical specialist here at ATG USA. My primary background is in structural design. I do have a little bit of architectural design before I leaped right into structural design. So again, anytime, feel free to ask any questions as we run along through this webinar. Today we'll be talking about revision management and sheet revision management and placement and how it is a tedious task and some of the nuances that we are and aren't able to do natively in Revit and how we could utilize some of the CTC tools, specifically revision management and also Schedule Excel. Maybe we want to put our revision schedule on our cover sheet and lay it out in that manner. I'll also be going over another CTC tool in the BIM Manager suite called Revision Cloud Remover. That will just be more towards the end in talking about how we can remove revision clouds and how that tool could be utilized as well. That is a free tool. The two tools we'll be covering today mainly, which is Schedule Excel and Revision Manager, are paid for tools. You can get a 14-day free trial. I will help you navigate to the website to do that as well at the end, allowing you to get a 14-day free trial. After that, feel free to reach out to one of our reps and we can get you linked in on how to purchase some of these tools as well. What are our learning objectives today? We are going to view and edit revisions. We're going to place revisions in the revision schedule, and we're going to place a revision schedule on your cover page. Now, I don't believe in death by PowerPoint, so we are not going to be doing just the PowerPoint today. So don't worry, we will be moving very readily and soon into Revit. But at this time, I will take any questions before we head on over into Revit and demo how these tools will work. Again, learning objectives for today are going to be view and edit the revisions that are currently placed on our sheets, and also place revisions in revision schedules, place revision schedule on a cover sheet, perhaps. Maybe that's something we've been wanting to do. And how would we have the ability to do that as well? Alrighty, I don't see any questions. Again, feel free to ask any questions as we go along. I'm gonna hop right into Revit. So to kind of give a little bit of a backstory, let's go over to a sheet here and kind of run through some of these case scenarios and what we are and aren't able to do natively in Revit, right? As we go along and look at our revision cloud, we have a delta here already placed on this sheet. We are in S1.1. I know, like I said earlier, I come from a structural background, so we're going to run off a structural workflow currently. But same instance, if we were on an architectural sheet here, what would we be running into in terms of those as well? Maybe we didn't want to have this revision cloud and the delta associated to it, which is just a tag on our sheet, but we did want it to appear in our schedule, right? How can we go through and place revisions on a sheet with actually placing the revision cloud? That's one of the solutions that in our CTC tools revision manager happens to have. So when you download the CTC tools, it'll be brought up in the ribbon and you'll have a new tab called CTC software. And then from here, you will have all of your, depending on which ones you've downloaded, suites. There are 3 different suites and I will drag them out here. You have CTC BIM Project Suite, you have the Manager Suite, and you have the Batch Suite. Currently, we're going to be going only over the Project Suite, and one of the free tools from the BIM Manager Suite Again, if you download a 14-day free trial, you get access to the paid tools, which are actually the darker color icons here. And then the lighter color icons are the free tools. They will always be free. You have this one to go through, and we'll talk about the Revision Cloud Remover and how we can utilize that tool. I'm going to drag these back up, and we're going to go over some of these tools here as well. Now, first off, we'll be going over Revision Manager. Again, it's a paid for tool. It is a darker color icon. I am going to use it just by clicking it, and it's going to populate. Now here, the great thing about the CTC tools, it's going to keep me in my native design environment, which is right here in the background. The window pops up directly in front of it, so I don't have to worry about closing out, going through, alt-tabbing, or anything like that. I'm staying nice, friendly in the environment. Now, for those of us that have never used any of the CTC tools and we're not used to any of the interface in terms of the tabs at the top, let's kind of run down some of these things. Some of them have options where you can go through and set specific options. You can also go through and see what you need for help. Maybe I need a little bit of help. What's going through here? Right now, it's going to open up in my PDF viewer, whatever your default PDF viewer is. Mine's on the second screen. I'm not going to drag it over, but it'll have a PDF of help. And then you have some videos. Maybe you're looking for a video associated with to the specific tool that you're using. You can click on the video here, and it'll bring you to a YouTube channel. Or maybe support. Maybe you have an issue and you need some support on the tool itself. Or maybe about what is going on with this specific add-in. Maybe I want to go and buy it. What is the user information? Or maybe I want to request a feature that's not already used here. I can go through and request a feature as well. But let's go directly into the tool, right? So we're trying to figure out what's going on with this tool, and I want to apply directly to this first sheet, S1.1, a revision to the revision schedule over here without having to place a revision cloud on my sheet. Now, as we see here, it's going to tell me what is the host, what is the ID of the specific sheet, right? Because these are the sheets associated to it. Up here at the top, you'll have the tabs, which is sheets and revisions, and then you'll have revision cloud. Now, specifically for this, I'm going to go through and see all of my sheets here, what revisions I have associated to those sheets, which are checked and have a nice little grayed out background, so they're not just checked and you're not confused and looking which ones are checked. But if I wanted to go through and just place a revision in the revision schedule without having to place a revision on the sheet, because in order to do that, we'd have to go over to here, go to annotate, we'd replace a revision on the sheet, and then I'd assign it to whatever sequence value it is, right? And then it would be populating over here. But what if I didn't want to have to place a revision cloud here, but I wanted to show it in the revision schedule that there's actually a revision on the sheet here? Again, I can go to the CTC tools here, go to Revision Manager. And then from here, I can go over and say, okay, on this sheet here, S1.1, I want to show a sequence on the sheet without having to place my revision schedule. So I can go over to here and place a checkbox. It's not going to automatically apply it yet. You have to hit apply, and then it will place it directly onto the sheet. I have no revision cloud associated to it. I can select all here. I only have the one revision right here that was already associated to the revision 1, and I can see that that second revision has been placed. Do we have any questions? Or any case scenarios so far that you would like to explore? Don't be afraid. We have the Q&A area or the chat. Feel free to shoot any questions in that you have, and we'll keep going forward. What else can I do with this specific sheets and revisions area? Maybe we have somebody on staff that doesn't know how to utilize Revit, but I want them to help me organize my revisions that I've placed currently on the sheets or have not placed on the sheets, right? They've never used Revit before, but I actually need them to go through and place some of the revisions on the sheets for me. How could they do that? So we could go over here and hit save. What this is going to do is save it in an Excel document. So I'm just going to I'm going to place a 2 because I already used one before. I'm going to place a 2 here, hit save. You have successfully saved the document. It's going to prompt you, do you want to open it now? Yes, I do want to open it now. It's going to open up in Excel. Now, this is something I could hand to somebody. Well, I guess send to somebody, right? Can't physically hand it. Um, and have them manage my sequences that are being placed onto sheets, right? So I can see over here whenever an X is going to be placed, that's when a revision is going to be placed on that sheet. Again, you will have to hit apply when you bring it back in, but let's go through and run it, right? Maybe Joe over there in the corner office isn't that proficient in Revit yet, but he needs to help me with my revision schedule. So I'm going to have him go over here. I'm playing the recipient of Joe right now. I'm going through and placing X's, whatever sequence value for whatever sheet I want to place it onto. And maybe, you know what, sequence 4 needs to be on sheet standard structural notes here. Great. So I have these two added. They aren't added here yet, right? As we can see here from the S01 standard structural notes, there is no sequence value added. And there's no sequence value added yet for the framing details sequence value 1. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to exit out of this Excel document because that's what Joe would do. And then me, Michael, I'm coming back in and Joe told me, hey, I updated that sheet. Can you go and load it in and fix your sequence values on your sheets? Yes, of course. So now Michael's coming back. He's going to hit load. He's going to grab that Excel document wherever he saved it. He's going to open it. And we're going to see the revision application settings were loaded for these specific sheets. Great. And I can see the new checkbox has been added, but it hasn't been added to the sheet yet because I need to hit apply. I can hit OK. I can go over to sheet 1 here, and I can see that that new sequence value has been added for 4. Anyone have any questions so far? Now, another question may be, well, okay, how do I add these sequence values? You're going to use the native environment of Revit. So all I have to do is go up to here and say sheet issues and revisions, which is going to bring me into the sheet issues revisions window natively that we have already organically in Revit, where we can add our new sequence values and change the settings for those specific ones if we wanted to as well. I'm going to go over here and hit cancel. I'm going to go back to my CTC tool, revision, sheets and revisions, and we're going to go over and talk about revision clouds here. Now, what does this tab do? Now, from over here, I have my revision clouds. Below that, I have my filters. Maybe I'm looking for a specific revision for a specific sheet that's been placed, or a revision filter. Maybe I'm only looking for specific revisions that have been placed as well. One revision, I'm going to go back to my revision manager here. I'm going to bring it over to here, and we're going to go back to revision clouds. This is on S1.1. So I can see on S1.1, there is a revision placed. I can actually take the parameters that are based on the specific revision and add the mark if I wanted to, or any comments that were supposed to be associated to that revision I can add here as well. I can even hide the revision cloud if I wanted to and just say hide and hit apply, and it's going to hide my revision. So if I go over to here, I still see my specific, was that one? 1 second. That was 1, yeah, because it's going to hide your revision. I confused myself. I apologize. But it's going to hide my revision from my sheet, right? Maybe we needed to send this into a client. The revisions have been done, and we didn't want to show the revisions specifically on the schedule, but we didn't want to delete it from our project, right? We wanted to keep it in our project, but we didn't want to actually remove it. We just wanted it to be gone from the sheet itself. So if I go back to Revision Manager, go back to Revision Cloud here. Now again, I'm going to go and hide it. I hit apply. It's going to remove it from my schedule, and it's also going to remove it from my sheet. Again, it's still in my document, so any information applied to it, all I would have to do if I wanted to bring it back onto my sheet is come back into here, unclick hide, hit apply, and then bring it right back to where it was. So I don't have to worry about trying to remember where it was placed because I deleted it because I wanted it to be temporarily removed. I know some clients do this where they'll delete it. They'll save an old project. They'll bring their old project linked in to the most recent revision, then copy and paste those revisions into this project. Instead, all you have to do is go over to here and just hit hide. It has now been removed temporarily from my project. Anyone have any questions? Feel free to ask any questions as we're going along. Great. Okay, so that is hiding any of my specific revisions that I have on the sheet. Now, case scenario number 2. Maybe I want to have on my cover sheet a list of all the revisions on my sheets updated, right? How do I do that? I can't natively bring this in. I guess I could type it out in Excel, but how do I bring it from Excel into Revit? Well, let's do a two-step process. Let's not type it out. We're going to bring this out because we now know that this tool allows us to bring this out to Excel. So I can go over here and hit save, bring it out to Excel. I've already done that before, as we saw here. I'm going to replace it. I'm going to open it. Now, the one thing that is an issue is that maybe I don't want to show my clients on my cover page an ID or a host. If you delete these, I can't go in and change this and reload it into here because it's not going to know where to put the new data because the ID is gone. So I always recommend just going here and just hiding the column itself. That way it still has that data. It still can be dynamic. I could update it in Excel where a new sequence value, because Joe's over there in the corner. He's going to help me out manage my sequence values. And I still want him to be able to manage them. If I were to delete them out and he was trying to manage this sheet and I tried to reload it into here, it wouldn't update it. These still need to be here as values. So I could hit hide. That way Joe in the corner office over there can update it whenever he needs to in Excel. I can repush it and publish it back to here to manage that. But what we need to do is bring this natively from Excel into my project so that then I can put it on my cover sheet. How do I do that? So I've already saved one out and these have been hidden. I'm going to exit out. Well, actually, let's just do this because I don't want to not have the latest and greatest updated revision items from there. So I'm going to hit open. Oh, I hit load. Hit save again, hit open. Great, I'm going to hide these just like I was talking about earlier. I'm going to hide this column as well. Bring this out a little bit. However you want to organize your settings specifically to outlining my boxes, my Excel cells. If I wanted to, you can go through and do that. I'm not going to go over in terms of how I would organize this. We're just going to keep it bare. I'm going to hit save. Again, this is the Eldorado Suites 20 revisions number 2. Okay, I'm going to hit exit. Exit again. Now I have to go to my second tool. Now my second tool is going to be called Schedule Excel. Now this allows me to bring in Excel documents into Revit. Now I currently already have one. I've done this before, as you can tell earlier today, but I'm going to add this new one in. There's already a current one in here, but I want to add a new one. So it's going to bring open, again, I'm not going actually out of my window of Revit. It's just bringing this new smaller window and I can go into here. I can even make whatever I want from here, but I'm going to open a document. Here's that revisions 2. I'm going to hit open and now I see my layout. Now this allows me to go through. We'll go over maybe a little bit of this. These are all your normal save as. You have some graphic options. You can go through here and change some of your graphics if you wanted to. And then you have your specific values here. So I can go down and I can say, is this going to be my active worksheet? Or if I have multiple worksheets here, which I only have one, but if you had multiple worksheets, you can go through and pick from your multiple worksheets within Excel. What are you going to name the sheet? Maybe I'm going to go name it revision, revisions, I guess. That's good. And then from here, I can go through and say, okay, is it going to create a new view or update existing views, right? Maybe there's already an existing one in there, which I do have, but I'm not going to. And then I have my view type. Is it going to bring it in as a schedule or a drafting view? Now, for those of us that know the difference between a schedule and a drafting view, I prefer the schedule because I don't have to play Tetris if I'm trying to align some things. They will actually dock next to each other or snap, right? And drafting views is a good old game of Tetris trying to align it to things, which isn't fun. So I'm going to bring it in as a schedule view. I'm going to hit OK. Now, before I move forward, another question is probably going to be, okay, well, Mike, what happens if Joe goes over and goes to Excel, right? He brings over File Explorer, he goes to his desktop, or it'd probably be on your network. If Joe goes into here, navigates to here, and goes through and makes some changes, how is that going to update this? And we already know how to update the revision manager because we just have to hit load and then apply. How does it update this? How does the Excel get updated here? So right here is auto update. That's for when you open and close Revit. So if I close down Revit and I open it back up, is it going to automatically update my Excel documents that are here? Meaning, is it going to ping the file wherever it is located and then pull back the new information, or ping the file if nothing's changed, keep it? That's what that's meant for when you open and close Revit. Now, if you're open in Revit and somebody updates it, Joe's like, hey, Mike, I just changed something. Can you update the Excel document on your sheets? Yep, great. I can go over here and just hit update and it's going to pull the new information. Or update all, because maybe I have all of them, more than just the one. Okay, so now it's been updated. Brought in. I'm going to hit exit. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see it in my schedules. I have XSXL and revisions. Now, this one was the one I brought in earlier. I'm going to go to my cover sheet. I have this one from earlier. I'm just going to drag over my new one above it. And again, this is why I prefer schedules. I'm not going to be playing Tetris for my drafting views. I can see it's starting to snap to other things as well. But here's my new one. And again, if I went to go in and change some information about it, I can go in and do that. Let's go in and add a new sequence value all the way across the board from sequence 1, 2, and 3 for standard structural notes, right? Now, again, we'll go back to my revision schedule and show that it's not here currently. I'm going to do it from the Excel environment and push and pull. I can see from here to here. Great. That's all good. I'm going to go back to here, open that Excel because I'm Joe. I'm over there in the corner office. If I remember where I saved things, here we go. Joe's going to open this up, revision 2. Let's go through and add these new sequence values here. Boom, boom, and boom. I'm going to hit save. Is that what I meant? Yeah, I meant to do it on the sheet. I'm going to hit save. Great. It's not currently updated here, so let me update that one at least, right? So I'm going to go over here and hit update. Boom. Now I see those across here. Great. Now let's go to my revision schedule. I need to exit out of here. And let me update that, right? So now I can go from here. I'm going to load that one back in. Hit open. Boom. All the way across the board. Hit apply. And there we go. Anyone have any questions so far? Again, we have the Q&A area or the chat feature. Give you one more minute. And then from here, we're going to go over and talk about Rev Cloud Remover. Now that is what schedule category does it use? That's a good question. It's just schedule, I guess. So that's a good question, Matt. We're not specifically talking about, Matt was asking, I think everyone can see the Q&A. I'm answering live. But the question was, will things maintain their structure? So we all know that Revit has a hard time with text, and it may not look correct until it's printed out. That's just a native issue with Revit. It will work, though, if you have your borders, right? So let me bring in one for Schedule Excel. That's something different that I do have updated, right? So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to open up. The question was, hey, if their borders are changed um, in terms of in Excel, will they also be updated, right? Yes. So will this formatting be brought over into Excel? From Excel into Revit. Yes. You do have to set up some settings. Again, these are your graphic options. What is your settings going to be specifically? How is it going to maintain all of the structure specifically for my graphics? And that is in my graphic options here. So you do have to go through here and set some of your options and go through and read this readily. Again, if you have any questions for this, you can go through and read all of the information for about and some help videos as well. I'm going to bring this in as a schedule. This is my water closet. And again, as you can see here, I have multiple worksheets. I pulled this data out for those of us that don't know the other tools that we have here. This is called Spreadsheet Link. This actually pulled out data from a project, right? So it told me my area. And then these are some parameters that were created specifically for this tool. And then I created my other ones here. I didn't create it. It was created. I don't want to take credit for this. And then they went through in terms of how they wanted to organize it. And this is pulling the data from those specific sheets, right? So I want to go in and bring it into my schedule. I'm going to hit OK. And I can see that that one's specifically meant here. There we go. I'm going to hit exit. Now I want to drag that onto my sheet. And I know it's not going to be on the right sheet because you're like, hey, Mike, why would you put that on your standard structural notes? No worries. And here we go. So it's maintained that structure of how it was going to look. Again, that's why I like the docking feature. If I add multiples, is it going to dock next to each other? That's why I prefer the schedule. All righty. Moving forward. So what if I wanted to remove my revision clouds? I'm done with the project. I want to remove them all from my project itself. We can go over here to the BIM Manager Suite. We have RevCloud Remover. And what this will allow me to do is actually remove my revision clouds. So I could delete my revision clouds permanently from my project. This will lay out what revisions have been placed and how many revisions have been placed in my project for those specific sequential values, if I could speak. As we can see here, I have revision forward. There are 2 placed in my project. Again, the entirety of my project is what's going to show here. Now I can go through here and remove the revision cloud permanently from my project, but maybe I want to keep the revisions on the sheet, right? The revision schedule, I want to keep them in here, but I want to delete them forever. I can go through here and do that as well. Or I can just remove the revisions permanently and hit remove. So I'm going to go through here, hit remove. And now my revision clouds, which none of them have been revised, I didn't have any clouds on here, have been deleted, but I still have my revision here as well. So again, that's another free tool here. Again, it's a free tool here in my CTC tools. In the BIM Manager Suite. Again, if you ever have any questions about some of these tools, you downloaded them and you were going through and organizing, grabbing some of the other ones, you could go through here, hit videos, support, or about. Hit escape on this one. All righty, let's go back to our PowerPoint. Thank you for joining me today. The webinar is now complete. We will have time for open Q&A. A recording will be sent out and you can feel free to gain access to them. Let's go through here though and talk about how can we access our CTC tools in terms of download those 14-day free trial. Feel free to go to this link here. You will then see at the top right, you can go and access trials there. Download a free trial of whatever suite you want to download. Again, we went over BIM Manager Suite, which was just the RevCloud Remover. And then went over the BIM Project Suite, which is Revision Manager and Schedule Excel tools that we can utilize in Revit. Again, my name is Michael H. Have. I'm an AEC technical specialist here at ATG USA. Feel free to shoot me a friend on LinkedIn. And always stay up to date with our YouTube channel or LinkedIn here at ATG USA. YouTube, you can gain access to training and instruction videos, quick tip videos, and anything we have in terms of related to the CTC tools, Bluebeam Review, Inbox Talk, Revit, Autodesk, AEC, Civil, Reality Capture. Right now, I'll take any questions though. If anyone had any questions on any of the tools we went over today or any tools we did not cover, feel free to ask. I will give about 5 minutes. Again, thanks everyone for coming out today. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for spending some of it with me. Question was, so is that in terms of, will this revision manager manage the revisions in the linked model? Feel free to shoot in the chat. I just, I guess my question to you about revisions in linked is, are you asking about controlling revisions in the linked model? If that's a yes, just use the chat. Redrick, your question was about interactive, I'm guessing, with Dynamo scripts. Are you trying to leverage something from Dynamo and use it with a tool? I guess I would have to know your case scenario in terms of what you're trying to leverage with the tool. Okay, yours was about the link. I actually have never tried that. So we can go through and test it in terms of, hey, I have a linked model here. Is it going to control those? I'm going to hit save here. I am going to close out of all of this, boom. And then I'm going to open up the architectural project for this specific one here. And then let me make sure I have my links in here. I don't have it added in this one either. CTC tools, revision manager. Yep. So it is showing them. So you will have, you will see them. The question is are those going to be pertaining to what we had in ours or in theirs? I guess you could go and hide them, apply that change. It won't let you do that. It won't let you change these. It shows them. It won't let you change them. Any other questions? You are welcome. Always here to help. Again, feel free to ask any questions. If you want a demo, please link up with your rep for any of these other tools. Thanks everyone for coming out today. I will leave it up to 2 more minutes and then we will depart. Unless anyone has any more additional questions, I'll give it about 2 more minutes for you to ask them. And then I hope everyone has a good rest of their day. Thank you for joining me.